Infiniti QX56 2008. It's not starting, so we will be replacing a starter. Starter's actually underneath the intake. There. Can't see it without removing the intake, so we'll be working on that shortly. So we will be removing the air cleaner, the engine cover, and the intake. Remove all the harnesses. So the battery has to be disconnected anytime you work on starter, alternators, or anything like that. So remove all the harnesses that are in the way. That's the injector harness right there. Evap hose needs to be removed as well, and the fuel line will need to be removed. In order to remove the fuel line, you have to have the special disconnect tool. Disconnect hose for the throttle body. Release the pressure. So check to make sure all the hoses, all the harnesses have been removed. Once you confirm that, it will be time to take the intake off. We're taking the intake out. It's 10mm socket. Some of the bolts in the back are very hard to get to. The two in the back are the hardest one to get off. That hose was in the way, so we ended up removing it. So repeat from the other side. So the throttle body hoses were, coolant was coming out of them, so we just plugged them in with old spark plugs. So I'll take the intake off. And there we have the stroller under there. Take this hose off from the back and that will release the intake. So the intake's out of the way. You can get a clear photo, or you can see clearly the starter's right there. There are a few more clips to get them out of the way. 14mm socket. Remove the bolt in the back. It's too tight, it's not opening. Start with the back, the bolts. This is for the wire harness. Try again with the back. There we go, first one's loose. So you just have to try different ways how to get the bolt loose. They're really tight back there. Okay, second one's loose. Once those two bolts are removed, the starter should come out. Here's the old and the new starter. Just check to make sure it looks exactly the same. And in this case it looks exactly the same, so we should be good to go. That's the flywheel, you can see right there. We replaced 2 bolts that we removed earlier. So most likely the hardest part of this job would be removing those 2 bolts because they were really super tight. And then you have to make sure that they are very tight as well when you're putting them back on. So at this point you just put all the harnesses back in, just whatever was removed got to be plugged back in, put the intake, and we're done with the starter job. Before replacing the intake, it's a good idea to clean the surface so it will make a good contact. So you can see it's pretty clean. It's a very good idea to put some grease on the surface. It will help when you slide the intake so it doesn't scratch it. At this point, just put all the bolts back for the intake, reconnect all the harnesses, the hoses, and we should be done with the starter job.